All right, to get started, welcome to GTrans's Service Restoration and Microtransit Updates Community Meeting. My name is Liliana Martinez, and I am the Transit Marketing Coordinator here at GTrans. Later in the presentation, my colleague Melissa, who's our Administrative Coordinator, will also be joining and providing a few updates. So today we're going to be discussing a variety of topics. We will be starting off with the passenger survey, providing a little bit of feedback as to some information that we found from the survey. Then we'll be talking about ridership. We will be providing an update for each line. And at the end, we will be providing you guys a few updates about a few of the projects we're working on here at GTrans. And again, at the end, you will have an opportunity to ask any questions and comments. So starting off with the passenger survey. GTrans conducted a passenger survey last December. Our survey was from December 9th to December 19th. During the survey period, we were able to survey 1,215 passengers across all lines. We surveyed passengers in a variety of different questions, including questions about overall service, overall safety, how people felt about our cleanliness, and more. But for customer satisfaction, we're happy to say that we got 4.26 out of 5 on customer satisfaction. We also received a lot of comments and feedback during the survey period, and we'll go through a few of the comments that we received from our customers. The number one comment that we received was that GTrans needs improvements to its frequency and or the buses are not arriving on time. We are aware of this, and so you know there is a continuing nationwide shortage of bus operators that has impacted our service. Currently, we are still working hard to hire and train more operators and will continue to host recruitment events. Additionally, we are also evaluating each line's performance along with ridership trends and demand in order to make improvements where we can. A second comment that we received was that GTrans needs to improve its customer service. GTrans is providing training to our staff, and we are obtaining new technology and resources that will help GTrans better provide updates to our customers. Another thing that came up was that our buses are too crowded, and this is also due to the fact that we don't have sufficient operators and we are continuing to hire. Once we're able to have more operators, then we'll be able to add more buses to each line, which will help with that, with the crowdness. A fourth comment that we did receive from our customers was that GTrans needs more accurate bus schedules and better communication times, delays, and etc. So oftentimes it's a bit difficult to determine the exact timings of, bus arrivals, because there are traffic conditions and other external factors like staffing on a particular day, accidents, and things like that that may actually affect our arrivals. So what we're doing here at GTrans, we are currently looking at what's going on. We are working with new technology to better assess the bus times and incidents affecting our schedule. Soon, we'll actually be launching an app that will display real-time information and allow customers to receive more accurate arrival times. Additionally, a new route guide will be available later this year with any changes, so please expect that in the near future. Lastly, another comment that came up was that customers will like cleaner buses. Our maintenance team does clean our buses on a daily basis and is always looking for ways to improve the maintenance of the buses. GTrans is also working on a new passenger code of conduct, which will lay out passenger rules that we hope will help with the cleanliness and safety of our buses. All right, now for the ridership update, Melissa, my colleague, will be providing you some information.
Thank you, Liliana. So next we will be looking into our ridership overview and summary. And as you may know, during the COVID-19 pandemic, a significant reduction in our ridership and manpower required us to reduce our service significantly. And as a result, we came up with a temporary modified schedule for each of our lines. And as more restrictions of COVID-19 are continuing to be lifted, GTrans is working on a service restoration plan that outlines how we hope to restore service to our pre-pandemic levels. Within the last few years, we've continued to work towards restoring the service plan, but due to the continuing bus operator shortages, there have been some delays in restoring the service per the plan. And so today, we hope to continue hiring and training bus operators, and in the process, evaluating our ridership trends and demand to make improvements in our service. Our next slide will go into a bit of a detail of our system-wide ridership. We are, as you can see in the yellow line, that was our pandemic ridership levels. And in the blue line, that was last year's ridership levels. And so as you can see, there has been an increase. In 2020, ridership decreased by 50%. And in 2022, we saw a 57% of our pre-COVID-19 levels. And while we are continuing to recover this ridership, we are seeing that year 2023 is showing an upwards trend.
Okay, thank you, Melissa. So now we're going to be going into each line and giving you guys an overview of what's currently happening with each line and will happen within the next couple months. So to start off with line 1X, line 1X, as you can see, had a significant drop in ridership. In 2019, we had 238,523 riders. Now we have about 62,000. That's a huge drop. So what happened during the pandemic, as Melissa mentioned, is that we had to modify our schedule because of the operator shortages, because of all the federal and state regulations, and trying to keep people from having too much contact, right? So we had to modify our schedule, and currently we're still running that modified schedule because we haven't been able to get enough operators to restore our service. However, the current modified schedule that we are running is that GTrans is running the line 1X weekend schedule on Monday through Sunday. So that's the current schedule we're running. It's the modified schedule. The weekend schedule is effective Monday through Sunday. Now, for an update as to what's going on with that line, the modified schedule will continue to remain effective for line 1X while GTrans conducts research and analysis of ridership trends, travel demand, and service parameters. At this time, it will only run up to the Harbor Freeway station and back. Trips to downtown will continue to remain on hold as we continue to evaluate this line. Now for line 2 also had a significant drop during the pandemic. However, we are recovering our line 2 riders quickly, just because line 2 is our most used line in our service area. So line 2 has already been restored to 15-minute frequency on weekdays and 30-minute frequency on weekends. So there will be no updates to line 2 at this time. As I mentioned, the service line 2 has been restored. We're always looking at ways to improve our lines. So in the future, if there's any ways to improve, we'll definitely let you guys know. However, for now, line 2 has been restored and there are no updates for line 2. Now, in terms of line 3 also had a significant was also significantly impacted during COVID. As you can see, we dropped almost 50% in ridership on line 3. We are currently running a modified schedule. GTrans is running the Line 3 weekend schedule on Monday through Sunday with an AM and PM peak service extension to Bishop Montgomery High during the week. In addition to that, there has been a recent change to Line 3. There was a stop closure / replacement. The old South Bay Galleria Transit Center closed January 28th. And as of January 29, now Line 3 is stopping at the new Redondo Beach Transit Center, which is located along Kingsdale Avenue in Redondo Beach. In terms of the update for Line 3, GTrans staff is currently analyzing and evaluating Line 3's frequency and ridership in hopes to restore service this year to a frequency that better fits the current demand and available GTrans service resources. All right, Melissa is going to provide the update for Line 4.
Yeah, so the Line 4 currently is on hold, and it is continuing the limited AM and PM service during school days. We will be continuing that until further notice. Next slide. GTrans is considering permanently reducing service on Line 4 to the current limited AM and PM service during school days due to historically low ridership trends over the years. And just like our Lines 3, we will be conducting an analysis of the line, and we will be holding a public hearing in the future to discuss any further changes. But in the meantime, Line 4 will continue to remain on hold until GTrans completes its analysis. Next is our microtransit pilot. We hope to launch a shared ride on-demand service serving the general public and our current paratransit clients using small vehicles and our current GTrans drivers. So this service will run within the city of Gardina's boundaries, and this includes key stops along Line 4 and within our already existing paratransit boundaries. Microtransit is an option designed to better serve major destinations within Gardena that helps improve ridership, connections, and access to other transit as well. And we've also conducted a study in our 2018 line-by-line analysis. We are considering offering this service Monday through Saturday with possible evening hours, but these service parameters we're still evaluating the service parameters, and as soon as we get an update, we will let everyone know as well. Next slide. So currently we are reviewing proposals for a software that will help us manage microtransit. And in this process, we are also preparing a new look and name for the service and have plans to hire additional drivers in the future. So we plan to launch late 2023, early 2024. So please be on the lookout for our microtransit service. Next slide. Next is our Line 5 overview. Prior to the pandemic, we were serving about less than 300,000 customers. It dropped in 2020 to less than 135,000 passengers, and then we're slowly gaining that back in our 2022 year with 108,995 riders. So currently Line 5 is running a modified schedule, and GTrans is running this with a 60-minute frequency. In the future, we're hoping to continue analyzing and evaluating Line 5's frequency and ridership in hopes to restore the service to a frequency that better fits the current demand and with the available resources that GTrans currently has. So in summary, we've put together a table of our restoration plans and everything we've discussed in this presentation, outlining what we aim to accomplish this year and in the future. Currently, as you can see, we are placing our resources into analyzing and restoring frequency and service to the Line 3 and Line 5 to better serve the growing ridership demand, and also putting our efforts into launching our microtransit pilot service in late 2023, early 2024, while considering permanently reducing service online to the current limited AM and PM service during school days. And this is due to the low ridership trends over the years. And lastly, we potentially want to look into 1X during the 2024-2025 year. We would like to make restoration updates, but we are still analyzing to better reflect the ridership trends and also focusing on seeing where we can allocate our resources, since many trip patterns and businesses and trip patterns have changed due to just the changing layout of what is happening on the line 1X. And then, as mentioned earlier, we did restore service back on line 2 with 15-minute frequencies. Next slide.
All right, thank you, Melissa. Now, in terms of GTrans updates. So GTrans has purchased 21 new CNG Eldorado buses and 7 all-electric Gillig buses that will be arriving this year. Additionally, we'll also be launching a real-time application that will allow customers to track the bus, find stop times, and plan the trip in real time. So we're currently going through testing with that application, and we are testing the software on our buses as well. So please stay on the lookout for this new app. Lastly, GTrans is hosting a job fair on Saturday, June 10th at the Nakaoka Community Center. We'll be interviewing for relief bus operators and transit mechanics. If you or anyone you may know is interested in applying for bus operator or transit mechanic, feel free to participate in our job fair. Additionally, you can always go onto governmentjobs.com and find our positions and apply online ahead of the job fair. Now we're going to be opening up for questions and comments. So members of the public wishing to provide comments will be given 3 minutes to speak. You can use any of the following to participate. You will be called on to speak in the order received. So if you do want to participate or have a question or comment, you can either type your question using the Q&A feature on Zoom. You can either raise your hand or you can, if you're not able to do either of those, you can call Zoom's phone line. Again, the phone line is 1-669-900-9128 with meeting ID 833-9584. 6925. If time runs out, or if you want to send a follow-up comment, you can always send it to publiccomments@gardeniabus.com. Okay, I do see there is a question in our Q&A, so I'll go ahead and read it. But if anyone else has a question, we'll make sure to call on you in a bit. Okay, so let's start off with the Q&A. Let's see. Does GTrans anticipate making any future changes to the special transit program with the introduction of the microtransit pilot? Melissa, do you want to answer that question?
Yes, let me just, okay, so GTrans will be keeping the current special transit program as is. The only changes that will be happening is that now our customers, our eligible paratransit riders, will be able to book on demand. So this means that they won't have to call in advance, and that they will have different options to book their rides as well, such as booking through an app and booking through a website, in addition to calling into our customer service and booking a ride through that feature as well. So the same parameters and the eligibility requirements, we're looking into keeping it the same, but also we are also in a period of looking into the parameters, and once we get final information, we will let the public know as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Dominic?
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I want to know when will be the next public hearing, because I do have a couple of detailed redesigns of the current line setup.
Right now, we're anticipating another public hearing regarding microtransit in the summer. However, we are going to have another hearing in late summer, possibly August, September, regarding our lines. However, if you do have any comments that you do want to share, you can share it now, or you can always send us an email with your detailed comments, and we'll make sure to take that into consideration.
Okay, you can still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Yeah, I do want to bring up one line in particular that I do have a problem with, and it's line 2, the current discharge location.
Mm-hmm.
I I think it should be like moved to a Harbor Transit Gateway Center instead of being at a highway.
To
It- it-
Harbor, you said move from Harbor Gateway Transit Center to,
move the current discharge stop from PCH in Normandy to Harbor Gateway Transit Center.
okay, to Harbor Gateway. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's see. We have another question from Art. The question is, will line 1X travel the same route as before once it is restored? Or is GTrans considering possibly changing the route into downtown LA? So right now we're still kind of evaluating how 1X is gonna how are we gonna restore it? Just because we are looking at the trends, the demand to downtown, what's going on with that. So we're not quite sure how it's going to look, but for now, we are going to continue the current modified route where we're going up to the Harbor Freeway station and then coming back. Right. Does anyone have any more questions? You can type them in, or you can raise your hand. We'll call on you to speak. Okay, Joshua. Joshua, I'm gonna ask you to unmute.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you're aware of the whole uh hold on. The K line, the LAX transit center that's going to be adjacent to the LAX People Mover in 2024.
Mhm.
Will line 5, should if it continue normal service, have a future stop at that station?
Right now we have not looked into that, but it's a great suggestion and we can definitely see if that's an option. We're just not entirely sure given our resources and also service parameters, because there are some service parameters we have to kind of meet in discussions with other agencies and cities as well. But we'll definitely take that into consideration. And if something that we can do, we'll definitely make an announcement about that. If not, we'll definitely let you guys know as to why we're not able to do so. But thank you for bringing that up.
And additionally, I'm not sure, like, in regards to real time, does it have to be a completely separate app, or will it be also integrated to third-party apps and not just your app, like Transit, Google Maps, Apple Maps?
So the plan is we're still kind of looking into that and seeing how it's going to integrate. I know that other agencies do integrate into Transit app. We're still looking into that. We're still kind of in the testing phases, trying to make sure that the app works properly on our buses and then we're getting the accurate information. So we're still not there, but that's a great thing to consider, and we'll definitely look into it.
Okay, that is all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joshua. Any more questions? Okay, I see another one. Will the new real-time application be similar to Transit app? If not, how will it be different? So it's similar in the sense that you'll get the information for each line. You'll be able to get upcoming stop times in real time in real time. The difference is it's only going to be specific to GTrans, so you'll be able to see our GTrans buses while they're moving through our route. You'll actually be able to click on them and see when they're upcoming. You'll get GTrans notifications as to if there's a delay, if there's a cancellation or something going on. You'll be able to get that through the GTrans app. However, the great thing about our app is that you can plan your trip through the app and still get access to other agency information. For example, if I need to go to, let's say, De La Mall, right? Let's say we have to go to De La Mall. The app will show the customer the best trip to take, and that might be, at least from GTrans, it might be take line 2 to Torrance. I don't know, maybe Torrance 10. I'm sorry if that's the wrong line, but it might tell you to take that in order to get to Del Amo, because obviously our lines don't go everywhere, but the app will be able to write recommendations on the best way to get to the place that you want to get. Right. Joshua, do you still have a question, or is your hand still up?
I don't have any more questions at this time. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna lower your hand then. Another question that we received: will the GTFS data used for the app be publicly available as well? Yes, so that is the plan, to have that data available once it's ready. Any more questions? No. We'll be here for a couple more minutes in case someone does have any questions or anyone jumps online. However, if you don't have any more questions, thank you for joining us. You're more than welcome to keep sending us comments on our presentation today, or on any of our lines and updates that we provided. The comments will be accepted until next week, Monday, May 15th. So make sure to send us comments through email if you do have those. Otherwise, I don't see any questions. We'll end this presentation right now, and thank you, everyone. However, like I mentioned, we'll be here for a few more minutes just in case someone jumps on.
Oh, Liliana, we have one more question.
Oh, I didn't see that. Does the GTrans trolley operate anywhere? Okay, that's a great question. So our GTrans trolley does not operate on any specific route right now. Currently, we're just using the trolley for city events. So, if you want to see the trolley, you want to check it out, definitely come to our upcoming events. GTrans will be at the city of Gardena's block party coming up in June 3rd, by downtown Gardena, and we will be taking the trolley. So if you want to check it out, definitely come by. Oh, another question: is there a survey for riders to give input on their need for service to downtown via the 1X? Okay, great question. So we will be conducting a survey relatively soon regarding where our riders go. Specifically in preparation for microtransit. However, we are going to use some of that data to kind of evaluate where our riders are going, so that we can prepare for the line as well. If anything does happen with 1X, we would probably do another additional public hearing or community meeting. We'll probably do more surveys on board. So please expect that in the future.
Sorry, I'm gonna just add to that, but if you'd also like to add input, feel free to also put in your input in our public comments email. We do review those comments and take into consideration what the public does provide for us.
All right, any more questions? I don't see any more questions. I think we're good. Unless anyone has any more questions you would like us to answer.
We can stay until 12:35 for any additional questions. And feel free to input your questions in the question and answer portion.
All right, it seems like there's no more questions. So thank you everyone for joining our community meeting today. If you do have anything you would like to add, feel free to send us an email at publiccomments@gardinabus.com. Thank you.